Another day, another model. So today we're gonna compare o3-mini, just released from OpenAI, with Deepseek-r1. Here you can kind of see the test I want to do today. So of course this is gonna be kind of my first impressions, but I wanna go over a few coding tests. We're gonna try some 3D animations as we have done in the previous videos. I wanna try to make both models write some code that can edit a small video clip. And I wanna do some text extraction. I will explain that a bit more when we get into the test. I want to do some AI agent orchestration. Basically, I want o3-mini to plan out how it wants to assign tasks to AI agents. I want to do the same with Deepseek-r1, and let's see what results we get. I want to run the breaking free from the training data again. That is basically the river crossing puzzle, a variant of this, as we did in the previous videos. I want to run my handcrafted read between the lines question. And finally, I saw o3-mini has a huge output token window. That is pretty interesting. We're going to test that more. But let's do an initial test so you can see it has 100,000 tokens on output. I want to see how far we can push that. And R1 has 8k token outputs. That's a bit meh. But let's see how far we can push it to the limit. So basically what that means is that we can theoretically get 100,000 tokens in one response from o3-mini. That is quite interesting as something we have to test more, I think. But yeah, let's just get into it and let's start with some coding tests, compare the results and see what o3-mini can do versus Deepseek-r1. Also, just a couple of things before we start. If you look at the pricing from o3-mini, we're gonna pay $1.10 for the input tokens, 440 per million output tokens. So pretty cheap, I would say. It's cheaper than GPT-4o. So basically half the price of GPT-4o. So that's a big slash of prices again. I guess they kind of had to do that. If you look at the pricing on DeepSeek Reasoner, that is very cheap. I think the price is going to come up a bit. And also I am running Deepseek-r1 using Together AI in this video. So that's kind of third party hosting this model for us. And o3-mini has this 3 reasoning efforts we can select from. So we have low, medium, and high. I think we're gonna select high for our tests now. So basically there's a parameter here called reasoning effort. We're gonna set this to high. That's gonna be all tests we are running. It's gonna be ran on high. Okay, so let's run a few coding tests here. So you can see we have the Deepseek-r1 function. We have the o3-mini function. And you can see we have selected the reasoning effort high here. And that is basically it. We're just gonna read the code1.txt. The assignment is gonna be the context, and we're gonna write code to solve the problem. So code 1, that is gonna be create a 3D animated browser wind tunnel simulation with wind speed and direction adjustments and transparency settings for the wind particles. And we go in the middle, there is an adjustable wing that can be rotated and tilted. The wind particle should be visible to show how the wing affects the airflow. Also include control so we can look at all angles. That is going to be the input, okay? And we're going to run that through Deepseek-r1 and o3-mini and see if any of these come close to what we are requesting here. So we are going to run, let me find the code here. So first we are gonna run this on Deepseek-r1, so you can see it's starting here now. The user wants a 3D animated browser, wind tunnel simulation. Yeah, I'm just gonna let the thinking tokens run and I'll come back when we actually have the final code that we can test. Okay, so I lost my sound here, so I just have to do a voiceover, but you can see we completed our code here. So we're just gonna copy this, we're gonna paste this into our HTML file. So that's gonna be the Deepseek HTML that we're gonna test later. And after that, of course, we just wanna run o3-mini with the same prompt. We're gonna get the HTML code from o3-mini. We're gonna do the same procedure. Copy the code and just paste it into our HTML file. And then we want to compare them, right, to see if they work or kind of what the results are. So that is what I did here. And now we're going to open up the results from the Deepseek, and you can see, yeah, we have something here. As I probably stated, this was not perfect, but you can see the wind speed is working. We can align the particles inside the wing, but as you notice, it's not affecting the wing, but at least it's something. If we open up the one from the o3-mini, kind of disappointing. We don't see anything. So yeah, I gotta give this one to Deepseek-r1 because at least we got something, even though it wasn't perfect. And when we got a blank from o3-mini, yeah, that was it, I guess. So the next part is I wanted to run the second test, and I need a Python code. I can take an MP3 file, MP4 file from the CVD. The code should cut the video into the following intervals from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, from 25 seconds to 35 seconds. So basically, we're gonna cut away 15 seconds. The code should merge the MP3 sound with the video. The sound file should cover the length of the video, and we're gonna save the output as final video.mp4. So basically a small video editing test using Python. And here I want to run both Deepseek-r1 and o3-mini to see if both can solve this problem. And we have the mp4 file and the mp3 file in our working directory, so it should be pretty easy to access this. So here we're gonna run, I think it was o3-mini first, just to grab the code and save this into, I think we saved it just into o3video.py or something. And then we're gonna do that for both, and then we're gonna run these files. So yeah, you can see me here pasting the code into o3vid.py, ready for testing. And then we're gonna probably do the same with R1 here. Yeah, you can see I'm firing up R1. We grab the code, and we should now be able to test both of these and compare the results. So I think I had to move this over to a second window because I had some issues with, yeah, you can see me here. And you can see we are running the o3 video. This is working perfect. We are actually processing. And I think I just did the same with the r3vid.py. And when I looked at the code, the setup was pretty much the same. So I have hope that this is gonna work. So when this is complete now, we're gonna first play the o3 video. So let's hear it. If there are any background sound, you can see we have cut it down. So let's play this. Yes, that was pretty good. You can see we cut the video clip down to 15 seconds, and we included the background sound that was from o3-mini. That was perfect. Now let's run the version we got from R1. Yes, we have cut the video. And we have the background sound. So I gotta say that was pretty good from both models. Both had a pass. The final thing I wanted to do was to run this. I need an HTML code that can extract all URLs from a PDF file. The user should be able to upload a PDF file, and the code should extract all the URLs from the file from the browser, return the URLs in a structured clickable list. So that was basically the assignment we gave both o3-mini and Deepseek-r1 in this case. So yeah, I just ran it through. Let's see how that worked out. We grabbed the code from, I think this was from Deepseek-r1, can't really remember now, but let's see where I save this. So I'm gonna save this into PDF r1.html. Yes, that was from Deepseek. And I basically run this again using the o3-mini, and we grab the code, and now we can compare them, right? And both of these are going to be opened up in the browser. So yeah, you can see me pasted it in here, and probably next now I'm just going to open up both these small apps. Here is the one from R1. So what we can do now is just pick a file. We find a Voyager paper from PDF, and boom, We got 2 URLs. Can we click on this? Yes. And they are working, so that's pretty good. So the R1 code is working good. Let's look at the one from the o3-mini model. Pretty much the same setup. We grab the Voyager paper and boom, we got the links. So yeah, I would say these were a pass. But if we look at this overall, I gotta give this slightly to Deepseek because it produced a more correct code on the first test. The 2-second test both passed with good grace, so I was happy with that, but a slight advantage to Deepseek. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to do was to look at the AI agent orchestration. We're not gonna spend loads of time on this, but I have this orchestration here that has a Deepseek-r1 function that can pick the agents we want to use. And we also set up the same using, where did it go? The o3-mini orchestrator. So these orchestrators are basically overarching. Yeah, you can see we have control of these 3 agents: the Bitcoin agent, the stock agent, and the search agent. So the main goal now is for o3-mini is to give instructions to these agents to get the most out of these, right? So we're gonna assign a task to each agent we think is best for completing the goal. And we're gonna set a goal here. I'm gonna show you what the goal is gonna be. So the goal is I want to understand the current state of Bitcoin and how it relates to the Nvidia stock. Also find recent news and changes in the tech stock market. So it's not too much to think about. The goal now, it's just going to be pretty standard. The idea is to see if the models can give instructions to the agents that can actually complete the task. Because if we look at the pricing tools here, like the stock price tool, we have to give like a stock symbol. So this could be Apple, Nvidia, Google to make this tool work. In the BTC tool, we have to give number of days to fetch the price history, and so on and so on. So it's important that the models knows this and it can give good instructions or orchestrate the agents by using the correct instructions, so we can actually complete the tasks. So I'm just gonna run this. We're gonna start off by running this, selecting. So let's do o3-mini first, and then we're gonna switch over to do Deepseek-r1, right? So let's do Python, the tinker.py. So when we run this now, you can kind of see, I can zoom in a bit, or you can see starting o3-mini orchestrator with goal, and here we kind of have the goal, and creating completion requests. So if we zoom in a bit here, kind of want to do that. So you can see here are the tasks o3-mini wants to give: provide detailed analysis of the current state of Bitcoin, including latest price. The stock agent is going to retrieve the current Nvidia stock information, including the price, performance. I don't think we can do that, but on the search agent that's using the Brave search, is going to look at to find some news article cover the latest trends in the tech stock market. So it kind of wants to assign this to the BTC agent. That's good. The stock agent is going to do the Nvidia, and that is perfect. And executing the task. So you can see the BTC agent is working on finding the price. The stock agent is working on finding the Nvidia stock information. And yeah, we got a synthesis here. So you can see as of February 1st, 2025, Bitcoin is trading at 102,000. Over the 5 past day, it has ranged from 101 to 104. Moderate volatility, considerations above. So the synthesizing here in the final summary is done by o3-mini. So you can see Nvidia stock and its context. Stock declined between 11 and 16.9%. corresponding to a loss of 600 billion in market value. Wow. And you can also see text market trends and recent news, particularly stocks linked to AI. Yeah, And we can kind of read the overall here. While Bitcoin shows stability and consideration at high levels, Nvidia and more broadly many tech stocks dealing with market headwinds due to largely competitive pressures and broader economic favors, highlighting different dynamics in crypto versus... Okay, so yeah, the orchestration was completed successfully, and we got kind of a summary at the end here. So yeah, pretty good job by o3-mini here, I gotta say. We fetched the Bitcoin price, we got the Nvidia price changes, that was pretty good. And we got some news from the stock market, pretty good. Yeah, I was happy with this. I gotta say this was more than I expected. But let's now run this same on DeepSeek, and let's compare the results to see if DeepSeek can execute this as well as o3-mini did. So the difference that I thought was pretty cool is that when we run this on Deepseek-r1, we kind of get the thinking process. So, okay, let's tackle this problem the user wants to understand. So that's pretty cool. We are still missing that from the OpenAI models. So the task would be, you can see, we are assigning the Bitcoin agent, the stock agent, and so on and so on. So I'm gonna let this run out and see if DeepSeek can also complete this task. Okay, so we completed all the different tasks. Both BTC agent, the stock agent, and the search agent did their task completely successful. That's good. So let's take a look at the synthesizing here. They're gonna do some thinking tokens first. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the Bitcoin's current state is bullish. Okay. Nvidia 3+% drop. Yeah, I think I gotta give this to o3-mini because we are missing some of the tools here. I think the o3-mini did a better job at actually calling the tools and giving the right information to actually get some results back from the agents. Yeah, so I think I gotta give this to o3-mini. I think it performed a bit better, even though both models actually got the agents to successfully complete the operations. I will give this to OpenAI o3-mini. Okay, so next we're gonna do the breaking free from the training data question. We have done this in other videos, but basically what we want to do is ask this prompt here. So let me just clear up this. So the following is a famous puzzle. A man and a goat are on one side of the river. There's a wolf and a cabbage on the other side. The man has a boat. The man wants to get the goat to the other side of the river. How does the man get the goat to the other side of the river? Give a final answer with a confidence score. So the idea here is that since this is a very famous puzzle, right? But we are changing some of the parameters of the puzzle. Usually you have to shuffle back and forward because every, like the man and the goat and the wolf and the cabbage start on the same side. And you have to shuffle back and forward to solve this. But here we are doing like a small variant of this. And we have seen that this kind of confuses the models. And because it has so much training data on that shuffle, it always wants to go into that. But with this, we want to see if they can reason and just solve the puzzle as it is now and not get too focused on the previous training data. So we're going to run this on Deepseek-r1. We're going to run this on the o3-mini model and see if both models or one of the models or none of the models can actually break free from this and actually solve the puzzle as easy as it is. Because the answer is just take the boat, get the goat to the other side. That's the answer. So let's run R1 first, and then we run o3-mini and compare the results. Okay, so we have the answer back, but if you scroll up a bit here, you can see it did a lot of thinking on this. So it states in the standard puzzle, the man starts with a goat, wolf and cabbage on one side. So it is referring to the original problem, but you can see, but according to the user's problem statement, the man and goat are on the same, on one side, the cabbage and the wolf are on the other side. Wait, that's different. So the main goal is to get the goat to the other side where the wolf and cabbage are. So you can see it's already kind of fighting with the original training data here. I'm not going to go too much into the thinking tokens, so I think we're just going to skip to the answer, because it kind of came to the conclusion. The man can safely get the goat to the other side by doing the following steps. Take the goat across in the boat. Since the wolf and cabbage are already on the destination side, the man stays with them to prevent conflicts. No return trip is needed because the goal is to only transport the goat. The man can remain on the destination side to supervise. Final answer, the man takes the goat directly across the river in the boat. Perfect. So that was the answer we are looking for. Deepseek-r1 did a good job here. Now let's run this on o3-mini to see what result we get there. Okay, perfect. So this was very simple. Final answer, the man simply loads the goat into the boat, rows straight across the river to join the wolf and the cabbage. Confidence score, 100%. Perfect. So good job by both here. We solved the breaking free from the training data problem. Had no issues with that. So yeah, happy days. Let's move on to kind of look at my handcrafted read between the lines question. I've done a few times now. We're just going to quickly go through that before we look at the output token test. Okay, so this prompt is a bit different. I'm going to read it out. We have done it a few times on the channel now, but basically the idea here is that I have something in mind that's kind of written in between the lines. We put it in some distractions, but I want to see if the models can at least touch on what my idea was here. So I'm going to read this out. I was walking home from the hardware store with a bucket of blue paint in my hand. It's going to be nice to get this paint on the renovated room upstairs. The weather was sunny and warm, almost too warm for me. Also, I just read in the paper that the New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup. Suddenly I get a message on my phone. Get to the hospital now. Put the clues together and give your best guess of what is happening in one sentence. So we have some clues here. The bucket of blue paint is a clue. The renovated room upstairs is a clue. The weather is a distraction. The New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup is a distraction, sort of. And the get to the hospital now is a clue. So what I want to see here is some kind of mention that the model thinks that the partner of the guy that was walking home with the bucket of blue paint has gone into labor because they are renovating like a nursery for their upcoming baby, right? That is my thinking around this, that she suddenly had to get to the hospital. So we're going to compare the results from Deepseek-r1 and the o3-mini and see if any of them mentions some kind of rush into labor or something like this around our newborn baby. So let's clear this. Let's run main 5 and see what the models think about this. So let's start with Deepseek-r1 and then do o3-mini. Okay, so we got the results here. So you can see Deepseek-r1 did a good job here. It kind of went through some of the clues, so you can see another angle. If the person is pregnant, maybe they're renovating the room is a nursery, blue paint for the baby boy. Perfect. The message going into labor. This is exactly what I was looking for. I'm not going to read too much into it, but basically the final answer from R1 here is the person is rushing to the hospital because their partner, who was likely painting the nursery blue for their upcoming baby, went into labor. Had a pregnancy-related emergency. Yes. Perfect. So that is what I was looking for, and I'm happy to see that again from Deepseek-r1 as we've seen in previous tests. So let's switch this up to o3-mini now, and let's do a run of this to see what we can get back from o3-mini here. Okay, this was not too good, so we can read it. It sounds like on what should have been a perfect day, returning from the hardware store, ready to finish painting the room, celebrating New York Rangers Stanley Cup, has had an accident, falling down from a ladder, urgently need medical attention. Okay, so yeah, nothing what I was looking for, and it's really annoying that we can't get the reasoning tokens, because then we could have kind of looked into if it had had this labor emergency in the thoughts here, or like the thinking part, not the thoughts. So yeah, we just get the final answer, and that was not what I was looking for. So again, I have to give this to Deepseek-r1, I think. Finally, let's do our output token test to see how many tokens we can actually get out from the models. So here you can kind of see the prompt that Claude designed for me to generate maximum tokens. Please provide an extremely detailed and comprehensive analysis of the following topics. The complete history of computer science, a detailed explanation of how AI and machine learning work, a comprehensive guide to software development. So a big prompt here, and it's going to be interesting to see how many output tokens we can get. Remember, o3-mini has 100,000 output tokens. I think that's pretty cool, but we got to also remember that the output tokens is also affected by reasoning tokens. So we're not going to expect like 100,000 tokens on the output or the final answer, but combined we could kind of see 100,000 tokens. But I doubt we're going to see that many, so it's going to be interesting to see how much we can get out in one shot. Of course, Deepseek-r1 is very limited on this part because it only has a max output token of 8k, and that's including the thinking token. So I expect a much less comprehensive answer, and we might even get cut short during the answer. So I want to start running this on Deepseek-r1, then we're going to switch to o3-mini and count how many tokens we got from this token test here. So yeah, let's run it. Python token text.py. Let's go. Okay, so that was disappointing, I gotta say. We only got 2,200 tokens out total, including the pro tokens. 2,400. I even checked it on the tokenizer here from OpenAI, 2,200. So yeah, that was not too good. But I want to compare it to o3-mini, so let's switch it up. And I kind of have high expectations, I gotta say, because I want to see like a large output here now from o3-mini. Hopefully I at least want to see like 10 to 20,000, but in my experience, I kind of doubt it. But I heard Google Gemini has a very good output token, so up to like 25,000. That is something we're gonna test in an upcoming video. But let's see what we get out from o3-mini now. So you can see we generated 20,300 tokens. And yeah, that was pretty good. But you can see we kind of got cut out here in the printout. Not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, I might look into that another time. But remember, this is not 20,000 tokens in the final answer. This is including the reasoning tokens that we can't see. So let's say, yeah, not as much as I was hoping for, to be honest. But I think I have to maybe explore a bit more on the prompt side here, because we might, I guess maybe this is designed to take in a lot of these reasoning tokens, and yeah, it's kind of a balance there between the reasoning tokens and the output tokens that we actually see, right? But we will explore this more in the future. But pretty interesting. I guess 20,000 isn't too bad, but I was kind of hoping we could see like 60,000 here, and maybe 30 or 20,000 was the actual output tokens. But it's fine. It's an okay test. So yeah, I just want to kind of quickly summarize this o3-mini. I guess it performed pretty good. I was really happy how it performed in the AI agent orchestration. It did a very good job there, so we're gonna definitely dive into that more. On the coding part, it did pretty good. It kind of failed the 3D animations and breaking free from the training data. It did good on handcrafted, the read between the lines question. It did not complete, but we couldn't see the reasoning tokens. And yeah, overall, pretty good, but is it better than Deepseek-r1? I wouldn't say that. On a few areas here, it was better, at least in the AI agent orchestration. That is positive for me. But there might be something we can do with Deepseek-r1 to get that even better too. So overall, first impression, pretty good. But I gotta explore it more to kind of give my full conclusion on this model. I gotta try it out a bit more, maybe on cursor and stuff, to see what it can do. But yeah, I enjoyed playing around with it. It was pretty fast. It was much quicker than R1, so that is also something that is positive if we think about the O3. And remember, I ran this on high reasoning, so if you put that even lower, we could have maybe got even more speed out of it. But yeah, pretty cool. And if you like this comparison, give this video a like, maybe leave a comment what your thoughts has been. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again very soon.